you just click on X here to close the window. Okay. All right. So here, yeah, in the database, you can see that you do have Java DB. Yeah. So this is the Java Derby. Okay. Java DB stand for Java Derby. I have installed MySQL Server, so that's why it appear here. Yeah. Okay. In our lab exercise, what we need to do, first starting the server and creating a database. So basically, what you need to do, right click on the Java DB database. Okay, after you right click, next you create a new database instance. So in my case, I have already address DB, so it's fine. I just create another one. Okay, create a database. Let's say create another one. Address DB. I 1 2 3. So I put 4. Okay, and then the username just put app. Yeah, and then password also I just the same thing, app. So you retype the password. So please remember the password because you're going to write the password, yeah, in the servlet later on. Right. So that is your instance of database. Yeah. So address DB4 is being created. Okay, this is will be appear under Java DB, and then it also appear here. Okay, this is basically for you to create the connection. Yeah. So if you look at here, it's like uh, into it break into pieces, right? If you want to make a connection, yeah, if you follow this instruction, yeah, after you finish this, okay, now we want to connect to the database. So basically, you click on the database that you want to connect. Okay, let's say here. So let's say I already address DB, so I want to click here. I click on connect. Yeah, so it will show it'll be connected. So if you connected, so this is the schema. Eh? Schema. So schema is basically the default scheme for you to use for your database. Okay, let's do this one. So this is the new one, right? So I have this app. So let's open up the app. By default, it's app. So currently there is no table. Yeah, no table yet. So if you look at the exercise, yeah, we want to create tables, right? So task number 3, creating tables. Expand the address DB connection node, and then choose the app node. Yeah, and then choose set as default schema. So by default, NetBeans already set it by default. If you notice that is highlighted into bold, so that's why it's already default. Boleh? Kenapa? Miss. Alright. Okay. Kita nak create database tadi. Okay, I create another one. Yeah. So basically, you can go to services. Yeah. You open up a project. Okay, any project. And then if you do not have the services, you go to window, click on the services here to make sure it's appear. Yeah. So if you click here, so this will be open. All right. So if you want to create a database, first of all, database is under services. So you can see that it will list up a type of database. So in my NetBeans, I do have MySQL Server, and also I do have Java DB. So in our exercises, yeah, for this one and moving on to the next one, we will use Java Derby. So this is the short form DB. Yeah, so we will use Java Derby. So right click here to create a database. Yeah, so put a name. Yeah, as what I just did just now. Sorry, the name of the database. So address DB. Okay, let's say just now we create 4, right? So I create 5. Put the name, username. So this is will be needed for the connection later on in your servlet. Yeah, app, and then confirm the password app. Yeah, all right. Next, click on OK. So if you notice, it will create the connection path. So this is what we call the connection URL. Yeah, so later on, you will have this path. You need to put this path together with the password, yeah, username and password in the servlet. Okay, after that, you want to make a connection. So just right click, then choose connect. Yeah, by default dia belum connect lah. Okay, after that, yeah, okay, let's say I choose app address db4, sama je, yeah, and address db5 just now. So when I choose tables, it's not exist yet. Maksudnya tak ada table lah. So this is a fresh database. So now, if you follow the instruction, yeah, it up until 2 already finish creating the database and connecting it to it. Right. So we are now in creating tables. Boleh, class? So far so good?
Boleh.
Yeah. Okay, want to create the tables. Okay, expand the address DB connection node. So this is actually the address DB connection node. Yeah. Next, okay, I have already looked at the tables, views, and procedures, right? Now it asks you to create the table nodes. Choose create table. Okay, let's do that. Right click here, create table. Okay, so it will give a window here. Okay, this window. So you can put a name. So basically, the name is address, right? Okay, so address, the name. This is table name, yeah, and then add a column. So let's say normally in a table we do have ID, right? So I just put an ID to make sure all the table will have some ID. Okay, ID integer, and then make it a primary key for this. So that is by default. Next, in the exercise, ask you to put all this first name, last name, MI, street, city, state, postcode, telephone, and email. So if you do not want to put ID, it's also fine. You just can remove it. So dalam lab exercise pun tak ada kan? So just boleh follow exactly kan? Tapi boleh juga kalau nak letak because it's a primary key kan? Bila you insert later on, do not use the ID lah kan? You just uh, specify the column name with the values rather than ID because it is auto generated. Kita apalah kita letak ID. So tadi saya just demo. You can also delete it. Yeah, if you have make some mistake. Right. So make it as a primary key. Next, add the first column, first name. Right, and then you may choose varchar. And then let's say I choose 20. Then put right last name. Yeah, and all the columns that are required in the exercise. Yeah? So you have about, I think, more than 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 can. So it follow exactly the size. Okay, and then you have the table ready. So I have it actually over here in the my address DB. So let me open this. So I have the address table already. So I have first name, last name, yeah, until email. Okay, so if you want to view the results, yeah, after later on, yeah, we have a form, we insert the data, and then we can look at the data that have been inserted. So you just choose view data, yeah, over here. So you can see that the data has been inserted, yeah, with these rows, yeah. So this is basically the select star from the table name, fetch first 100 rows only. So you also can manipulate or edit this SQL, yeah, if you want, yeah. See, you want to change something. Okay, so this is how you use this Java DB, yeah. View data, and then you can also grab structure, recreate table, want to see the properties, yeah. Okay, this is your where is your database, yeah. So it is reside in the Netbeans. Okay, the table already, right? Boleh class? So that is creating database instance with tables. Table, yeah, a table. So you have one table there. Any questions so far? Before we move on, boleh?
Boleh.
Boleh ya? So, you guys are with me kan? You all buat juga kan? Betul tak? Ke tengok je? Tak buat eh?
Tengah buat.
Alright, good. Okay, now we are creating a project. Kita nak buat new project. Create a web project. Kita nak buat web project. And then we want to do some HTML form. In the HTML form, we want to submit the HTML form to the servlet. So we're going to create a servlet that will retrieve the form values and insert it into the database. Yeah. So we create a project named DB example. So I have it ready. So I make it DB example 2. Two, right? X. Okay, this one by default. Okay, if you have the Glassware server 1.1, so leave it as it is and make sure your EE version being selected. And also this is the context path, which means that this is the URL, yeah, on the server location. Then choose on next, yeah, and then choose on finish. Sekejap. Kejap ya, 1 minute. Alright. Okay, now you already created the web example here, DB example. Okay, so in the DB example, by default, yeah, it auto created an index.html. So you have it in the web pages. And then this is the source pages. So tak ada apa-apa lagi lah kat sini kan. Okay, so in the index.html. Alright, so now create an HTML file named simpleregistration.html for collecting the data and sending it to the database using the post method. So this is a form, so you need to type lah, yeah, the form. Save the file in the web pages folder. Please remember that because sometimes you save it in a web INF and then you could not retrieve it back, kan? So make sure dia dalam web pages. So right click web pages, new HTML file, name it as simple registration.html. Choose on finish. Yeah. So there you go. You have your simple registration.html. Right. So I have the code ready here. Yeah. So this is my simple registration.html. Okay. Let's look at the code. Yeah. Simple registration.html. So basically it's a HTML with the table. Yeah. First of all, you need to have the form action. Yeah, the form action basically the simple registration. So this is, will be the servlet name. Okay, we are going to create it later on. And the method is post. Yeah? So this is the form action. Right. So I have a table. I put a border 0. Okay, so this is the TR and TD. Do you remember what is TR for?
Row.
All right. TD? Okay. So you can proceed with this. So basically you have rows and column, and then you have input type text. This one is a selection, and you have select name, and the value is there. And then you have one submit button, and then you close the table and you close the form. So this is the closing of the HTML text. So this is the simple registration.html. Right. After that, we need to create a servlet. Yeah. So name it as simple registration servlet. So let's create it. Right click here, new servlet. Kalau tak ada, you go to other, choose on web, and then there is a servlet over there. Yeah. Choose on next. So name it as simple registration. Okay, that's it. Okay, next. Okay, in this case, yeah, please don't forget to check this one. Add information to deployment descriptor. Kalau you tak check, later on you can do it later on, tapi a few more steps lah. Ya, saya tak cover dalam the lab exercise. So please make sure that you check this one in order the mapping being added into web.xml. Okay, so your pattern here, leave it as it is. Yeah, so I maintain this one and then choose on finish. There you go. Your servlet has been created. Simple registration extends HTTP servlet. All right, so you have a process request here, and then you have do get and do post. Yeah? So each of the do get and do post will have the process request. Okay, so in my coding, yeah, saya dah remove the process request. So I just make it do post. So I have init method. Yeah, kalau dalam exercise tu, if you notice, yeah, this is my simple registration extend HTTP servlet. By default, Netbeans will auto create the methods, but you can edit it, right? The content of the methods under the class. Yeah. So I add init method. Yeah, and init method throws servlet exception, and I call a method named initialize JDBC. So I'm going to call this method initialize JDBC later on. Okay, this is the do post method. Yeah. So the do post method will have print writer object out.print line. This is the first line. Yeah. After the response here. Okay, so I create a local variable. I assign the local variable for each of the column value ataupun row value tadi, yeah, from the form to assign the value of the form punya value. Yeah. So if you will notice that it have last name, first name. So this is from the form, the HTML form. Next, this is the checking, the try catch, to check whether you have filled up or not. So ni macam error handling lah. So basically you check whether your last name and first name is it being entered or not. If you tak masukkan, it's blank, so it will print out this error message and return. So meaning that and the method keluarlah daripada the method of this. If tak ada error, if no error, you fill up everything. So it will go to the store student, which is a method. Okay, so I also give that method in this code, for you to to insert the data. Yeah. So this is the catch exception. And finally, the other out.close to close the stream of the out object, the print writer object. Boleh? Am I too fast? Okay. So far so good lah. Boleh follow?
Boleh.
Ya. Ada tak faham kat mana-mana? Belum buat lagi kan? So mesti tak tahu lagi kan? Okay, tapi make sure ya, the normal errors ataupun the normal issues, saya nampak mungkin yang ni kan last name N besar, mungkin you guna N tu kecil dekat form, tapi dekat sini you letak besar because you follow my code. So please remember, they're case sensitive. Whatever in the form and whatever in the servlet that you're going to retrieve, you make sure the spelling is correct. Dia case sensitive. Kalau you guna semua small caps, pakai small caps. Kalau you guna all caps, pakai all caps. So it's very case sensitive lah. Kalau you pakai kat sini tak sama dengan dekat form, so dia akan ada error lah. Dia tak boleh retrieve the value. Alright, so let's look at more codes for the JDBC, initialize the database connection. So basically this is to declare the driver and connection string. So just now kita dah create kan connection JDBC Derby tadi kan. Okay, localhost 1527 address DB. So kat mana you nak cari tu? Sebenarnya dekat kita punya database tadi. So this one, this is it. So you ambil kat sini lah. JDBC Derby localhost 1527. So nama database. And then put the app kan, the username and password. So please put, if you change the password, ataupun the username itself, make sure you put the correct one. Okay, once you create. Next, you load the driver. So this is the method to load the driver, class.phorename. Next, you create a connection to a driver manager. and then you call a get connection. Okay, and you pass the connection string. So this is the important part. Yeah, connection string ni make sure ejaan dia betul. Ya. Because sometimes you make typo error kan. Address ni D1 je. That's why sometimes kalau ada error could not ataupun database null. I think something like error null. So you need to check the connection string. Yeah, the connection string whether the correct spelling or not. Okay, normally that is the common mistake lah. Yeah, spelling error. Okay, next is create a statement. So this is an SQL statement, yeah, if you notice, yeah. I create PSTMT. So this is a statement from prepared statement. Okay. Okay, I use the connection object, okay, to call a prepared statement to execute the SQL. So this is basically the SQL. Insert into address. Okay, and then you use the column name. Okay, these are all the column names that we have defined in the database. Yeah, last name, first name, MI, telephone, email, street. Yeah, MI ni macam middle name lah, macam binti, bin. Yeah, okay, state, postcode, then values. So values ni pun kena samalah amount dia. Kalau you kata column ni 8, so the values yang question mark ni kena ada 8. Yeah, so make sure it's tally. Next is the catch exception. So if salah satu kat sini ada error, connection string ni salah, and then maybe the driver pun salah je, client je without the driver, ataupun the insert statement also missing any values or columns, so you will have some error printed, dekat sini, dekat log you, masa you run nanti dekat mhm, dekat glassfish ni nanti dia akan keluar. And dekat JavaDB tak ada, dekat glassfish dia akan keluarlah the error why it cannot be executed. So normally you go to the log, log dekat Netbeans tu to see what are the errors. Alright, so next we go to the store student method. So this is a store student method where you retrieve parameters of all the string that being sent. Okay, so let's look at the store student method. So this is actually in the do post. Kat sini do post kan. Store student you call, you pass all the local variable. So actually this all local variable contain the value from the form. Yeah. So when you go to the method store student, so what it will do, it will actually set the string, accordingly. Number 1 is last name, number 2 is first name, So this is all until 9, and then it will run the execute update. So this is also a method in SQL. So it will run the execute update. Okay, that's it for servlet. Any question? Boleh? Tak buat lagi Tengah buat?
Tengah buat.
Ya. Tak siap lagi So later make sure process request tu dah tak ada. Hanya ada do post. Do get ada tak? Pun tak ada do get. So saya hanya maintain do post method saja. So you boleh remove process request and also do get method. So yep. Ni insert statement. Yeah. So I've given you the code. Please do this because nanti post lab you need to do something else. Kena buat update statement. So in this lab exercise, I show you how to do an insert statement, right? So after you compile, next, the third, you need to configuring the web application. So this is basically to check whether your web.xml is already there. Kalau tak ada, kena create. View the definition and the mapping. Okay, so basically you need to view web.xml. So web.xml is under web.inf. So this is your web.xml, servlet name, servlet class. So this is the URL pattern. So tadi kan saya tak tukar kan? So just ambil nama dia directly. So your pattern ni you boleh tukar ataupun you nak maintain the same name with the database name. Yeah. Alright. So this is the web.xml. Next, is it after it's okay, you dah check, okay, and then create the home page. Okay, create the home page. So basically in the index, yang ni saya ada index. So saya create link. Yeah, saya put a div here. I put a href to the form, form simple registration .html. So make sure you put the full name of the HTML file. Yeah, sometimes ada yang tak letak .html, so bila dia deploy tak keluar. And then ada error lah kan, dia tak jumpa bila dia klik the link. So this is the register user, the text, and make sure it's end with the tutup href. Alright, so basically kalau you nak deploy, normally I will do clean and build, yeah, to test it out. Okay, let's look any errors. So dia kata okay, yeah, built successfully. Next, I will do deploy to check my any coding problem. Yeah. Okay, built successfully, no errors, and then click on run. Okay, now it open up the browser, the default browser. So dia akan buka myindex.html. Kenapa? Sebab saya dah set dia kepada welcome page kat sini, pages tadi. Ya, saya dah set dia kepada welcome files. So saya just select index.html to make it as a welcome file. So by default, bila you run, dia akan terus open up the welcome files. So I have a link here. Yeah. So this is the form. Something's wrong with my form. Sepatutnya submit and reset ni kat bawah lah. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Nanti later you fix it lah. So let's say saya put betul lah, Rosli Marshima. Okay, let's say oops, 010 email itu test kan, gmail.com put 4450 street Jalan T Siti Syalam. Sure it works or not. My submit button kat atas kan. So dia keluar Mashima Rosli is now registered. So that is actually in the servlet. Servlet saya ada display that message. You also can change the message if you want. Yeah. Mana ya? Yeah. Kat sini, after store student. So after this line, it being successfully inserted. So dia akan print line ni lah. First name, last name is now registered. Oops. This one. Yeah. Alright. So now let's check our database. Nak check. Alright. Mana tadi? This one kan? View data. Let's go to the last one. This one lah. Saya pakai address DB ke? Saya pakai address DB1. Okay. Somehow dia masuklah data tu kan. Sekejap I use address DB2. So I have two database here. So connect it. Okay, I can check the same thing. So the table, address, view data. That is the one that have been inserted just now. Okay. Boleh?
Okay.
Alright. So now let's look at the post-lab exercise. Yeah? So you have a post-lab exercise. So before do the post-lab exercise, do the lab exercise first to experience any issues with the database connection. Because this post-lab pun ada database connection. And you can do the same thing, use the same project for this post-lab. And then when you submit the project kan. So I can know that whether you do the lab exercise or not. Yeah. Alright. The post lab asks you to create a servlet that enables the user to change the password from an HTML form. Yeah, so you have a HTML form here. Okay, as shown in the figure 1 below. So suppose that the user information is stored in a database. Yang ini sebenarnya table bukan database. Sorry, ada typo error. So in a table name account, yeah, with 3 column. Okay, username, password, and name. Yeah, where name is the real name of the user. Okay, the servlet will perform the following tasks. So basically, dia akan verify that the username and all password are in the table. If not, report the error and redisplay the HTML form. So you need to check lah, yeah, the whether the username and password are in the table or not. Okay, and then verify the new password and the confirmed password are the same. And then if not, report the error and redisplay the HTML form. Okay, if the user information is entered correctly, update the password in the database. So you kena ada update statement. So yang dalam lab exercise is actually insert statement. Yeah, so you need to just change the SQL rather than insert into. So maybe you need to use SQL update table name, yeah, update table name, where something like that. You dapatkan ID dia dulu. So update table name column equal to value, where ID equal to what. Yeah? So that is the similar SQL that you need to use for updating. Alright, that's it untuk post lab. Okay, boleh submit bila? Kelas. Ha. When do you think you can submit the post lab together with the lab exercise? Saturday. Is it Saturday okay? Today is Thursday, right? Saturday was
Okay.
okay? Saturday okay?
Okay.
Alright. Sorry ya, hari ni ada banyak background music pula. Okay. Okay, anything else? Ada problem tak ataupun nak tanya for the post lab? Hmm. Hmm. Boleh. Untuk increment tu you kena run some SQL dalam DB. So meaning that nanti you gunakan this ya. Ini kat sini. There is a way lah to do that. So you boleh basically execute command. So kat sini you boleh buat dia punya auto increment punya statement. Macam kalau you write SQL kan, there is a way to do that. Tapi untuk window dia tak ada lah. Contoh tadi you nak add kan, add column ataupun add data. Katalah nak add data, boleh tak? View data ni boleh add data sebenarnya. Just enter something like that lah kan yang ni. Add, ini nak enter pun boleh. Ya, yang ni boleh add lah. Terus je directly insert something. Add row. Tapi kalau nak buat increment tu, you right click here, execute command. So find the command. Yeah, there is a command to do this. This is a SQL general punya command untuk auto increment yang boleh run untuk Java Derby. Yeah, find out first. Kalau tak jumpa nanti saya bagi. Boleh? Hmm, boleh. Okay. Anything else? Hmm. Okay, tadi kita buat primary key kan. Masa kita create the primary key, so by default dia akan buat auto increment tu you kena set basically. But if a primary key, so dia memang dah adalah the first, second, third kan because dia primary key. So dia unique lah basically kalau primary key. Database you belajar kan? Okay, so kalau you set as a primary key, so of course dia akan jadi unique ID. Ah, Mhm. Oh, okay. You can check. You can check. Maksudnya you can dapatkan data dulu lah. You select the data first, and then you check what is the ID. Kan, you select star from table address contohnya, and then you check the ID. Boleh? Ya. So macam ni kalau insert into address, saya tak letak ID column kan. So by default dia akan buat auto increment using the default primary key lah. So kalau lepas 1, 2, 3. Sebab saya tak ada masukkan ID dalam kolom ni. Kalau saya ada masukkan ID, so macam kena buat manually lah kan. Tapi to check whether the ID dah guna ke belum, you boleh check macam you select dulu to see what is um, the latest lah kan, the latest ID have been created. Macam nak tahu, contoh dia nak tahu yang ID mana paling last kan, nombor 3 kan kita kan. Nak dapatkan 3 ni, select star dululah and then get the last row results. Then baru boleh dapatkan the value. Ini memang auto increment lah by default sebab saya tak gunakan ID pun dalam insert statement saya. Alright, anything? Dia automatic bila you set the primary key, kan? ID tu dia akan automatic. That is the B lah how it works. Tapi kalau you nak specify in your SQL pun boleh, tak masalah. Alright, the rest of the class okay? Azizi, Syafiq,
Okey, Doktor.
Fikri, Fauzi, Izzuddin, Daniel, Akmal, Zulaika, Izzah.
Okey, Doktor.
Okay, dah buat dah? Tak buat lagi? Betul ni, Sabtu boleh siap? Sabtu ke Ahad?
InsyaAllah. Ahad.
Oh, panjang je Ahad dia lepas saya tanya ya. Okay, Sabtu ke Ahad? Cepat, siapa buat Ahad?
Ahad.
Ramai Ahad.
Ahad.
Okay lah. Sebab saya nak create assignment tu for class C tomorrow, so not fair, just giving them 1 day kan. So, okay, you guys got an extra day lah, Ahad. So, they will got another 2 days lah kot. Alright, I think it's fair enough for all the groups. So, submit by Sunday midnight, yeah? Make sure you submit, yeah? For lab 1, 2 and 3, I will upload the answer scheme maybe by today, yeah, because I dah mark the lab 3. So I also dah submit the score for lab 3 for your group. I think just group A belum habis marking lagi. I think that's all. Next week is the minggu ke-6 sebelum semester break
Ah,
Saya lupa nak tanya semalam dalam lecture. You guys nak ambil test 1 after semester break ke before?
After.
After kot.
Sebab
Doktor nak
aku datang
tanya.
banyak exam.
Banyak exam?
Doktor
Sebelum
nak tanya
Mm-mm.
pasal projek.
Ya.
Satu grup berapa orang sebenarnya? Sebab masa first week tu tak cakap.
Okay. Maximum is 3. Maximum is 4, minimum is 3.
Lepas tu kita kena pilih tajuk berdasarkan yang website doktor tu ke?
Ya, saya dah bagi tema kan.
Itu tak cukup lah.
Tak cukup? Macam mana tak cukup pula?
Ada 5 tajuk je kat situ.
Oh, tak apa. Pilih je mana, bukan tajuk tu tema.
Oh, tema je.
You boleh pilih, you come up with a title from the theme, from the tema.
I
Eh?
see.
Contohnya apa? Apa tema yang saya bagi Apa dah saya? Campsite ada? Tak ada kan? Apa ya? Tema dia? Information Management System Tema dah. Contoh tema group project requirement. So saya bagi
Employee reward.
contohlah saya bagi customer feedback management system kan. So this is only a team. So you boleh come up with tajuk customer feedback for what? For college ke? Customer feedback for IT IT support ke? Kan? Come up with title lah. Ya. Lepas tu you kena come out dengan proposal kan? Sekejap deadline proposal is after. Okay. Next week saya akan highlight balik lah dalam lecture class. Is after your midterm, semester break kan? Next week, week 6. So week 7 is right after the semester break. So kena hantar storyboard Boleh?
Boleh.
10% tau storyboard tu. Kena buat HTML files dengan database design. So get into groups form a groups. Somehow, okay, saya akan letak group project registration maybe by next week lah kan, sebab saya akan highlight balik dalam lecture. So form a group, find a title, get some idea, brainstorm what to do for the project, and lepas tu nanti register tu lah for group project registration. Okay. Okay, betul lah. You nak buat test after midterm
Betul.
Right. Okay, nanti jangan cakap lepas midterm banyak sangat test. Okay, saya tanya ni tau. So we deal Alright. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you, class.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doktor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doktor.